Hello and welcome to my guide for the 10 fish category in the Big Catch Tacklebox. In this video, we're going to break down each ruin into all the fish you need to grab, while showing beginner and more advanced strats to do so, and even a few backups. There will be two routes I show in this video. One, which includes a complex but relatively easy to learn trick called a Skyboost, or as I like to call them, lily launches. And the other, which avoids the need to use this trick, which I would suggest for new or beginner runners. The beginning and end are the same for both routes, so I'll be going through the full beginner route first, and at the end go back and explain where the Skyboost route differs. However, before all that, let's set ourselves up to be able to speedrun in the easiest way possible, starting with changing our in-game settings. Navigate your way to the options in the pause menu, and under input, you'll want to select Shredder Toggle. This will make one of the tricks we perform multiple times in the run much easier. Next, we want to set up our timer. I strongly suggest using Live Split, which will be linked in the description, as it has a built-in auto splitter ready for us to use, thanks to one of the members of the community, Pixel. This will take away any worry of needing to split mid-run and starting or stopping your timer at the wrong time. Once you have Live Split installed, right-click the timer and hit Edit Splits. This will open a window that allows you to add or remove any amount of splits you wish to have. Some runners have splits for each fish, and some just do one at the ending. The choice is up to you. To set up the auto splitter, you're going to want to fill in the game name and run category like I have here. Then, click Additional Info and set the Tacklebox category to 10 fish. After you've done this, click Activate underneath the Attempts prompt and open the settings. Because we're running the 10 fish category, check everything that I have here. As you can see, the auto splitter is also available for the all fish and 100% categories, if you ever decide to take those up. There's also a very helpful tool most runners use when practicing, the debug menu. To help teach us how to install the menu, I asked RageEngage1, a member of the community, to explain it for us. You're going to want to click the link provided in the Resources tab for the Big Catch over at speedrun.com. This will also be linked in the description. To begin the installation, you need to download BepInX first. The link to this is provided in the README section of the debug menu's installation, and will also be in the description. Once you have installed BepInX and extracted it, make sure to separate the main BepInX file from the extraction files, and place this folder in the local files of the Big Catch. Next, you can install the debug menu. Double check you are selecting the proper installations for your system and not the source codes. Once the debug menu is installed and extracted, locate the Tacklebox dbg.dll file, and place this inside the plugins folder of the BepInX folder that we previously put inside the game files. After completing these steps, you should be able to access the debug menu in-game with F11. If you are having any trouble with downloading and setting up the debug menu, feel free to reach out and ask in the game's Discord server for any and all questions. Okay, great. You're now all set up and ready to start learning the 10 fish speedrun. Tutorial: 1 fish. This is the tutorial. When playing casually, it teaches you all the movement and what your goal is in the world. I highly recommend playing through the game casually first, not only because it gets you familiar with the ruins and movement, but because it's genuinely a really fun, open-world platforming adventure, and it's totally free. This is one of the best demos I've played, and personally can't wait for the full release. There is one thing that the tutorial doesn't teach you though: animation pause canceling. Whenever you catch a fish, simply pause the game and press B to exit out of the menu, which cancels the fish grabbing animation to regain control of tackle instantly. So, for each ruin we go over, I will show a short clip of the whole thing, then go through explaining what's actually happening. Here's tutorial.
그래요, sim. Aqui, ó.
That may have looked like a lot, but we're going to go over it, and soon enough you'll be doing it too. Our goal here is to grab the first fish, knock down the red hook, grab the warp, unlock the whistle, and get going. To start, you'll notice that there was a cutscene at the beginning. This isn't included in the timing, and is skippable by pressing start twice and A to confirm. Once we're spawned in, immediately start slide jumping forward, and use ground pounds to give yourself the extra height to get up the ledges. Grab the bait off the tree and cast it into the water before you get there. Try to land it between the land and the fish, instead of behind the fish. Aiming while moving can take some getting used to. Jump into the water behind the fish, and press X while holding neutral once it takes the bait. We want to be behind the bait, because this way, the fish will always jump away from you towards the shore. Now it's time for our first skip. This one is fittingly called Tutorial Skip. Position yourself at about a 30-degree angle. It's not that precise. Anywhere between a 45 and 0-degree angle should work. You're gonna need to be at a distance that allows you to do a slide jump into a ground pound. This gives you enough speed and height to start wall running at the right spot. Wall run over to the ledge on your left and perform a spin jump, again at a 30-degree angle, and wall jump onto the vines. Congratulations! You have performed the first trick in the run. Next, we make our way across the swing and have to hit the red hook. This causes Bale, the NPC we need to unlock whistling and turning in our fish, to move up to the top. Go back up to the top by using the hook. Up here, slide jump into a ground pound while holding forward. You need to reach the back quarter to be able to grab the ledge. If you start wall running, it means you are too close to the front of the ledge. Then do the same thing to get up the next step, talk to Bale to unlock the whistle, and then we're off to Slide Fort. Slide Fort, 2 fish. Using your newly found ability to call sand shredders, hook onto one and surf over to the Slide Fort. Here's a tip. Pressing X right before the dash meter fills up gives you a gold dash. It lasts longer and is faster. The first one we'll be getting, unfortunately, is pillarfish, one of the most frustrating fish to get. A lot of your runs will end here if you don't spend time learning the timing of the jump. The trick you need to perform is called a super jump. This is the reason we switched our shredder settings earlier. When sliding up to the pillar, you'll see a log laid down in front of it. When tackle is on the log, press A and B at the same time. It's not frame perfect, but the window is small. Hold A the entire time to ensure you make it up to the top. It is possible to reach the fish without needing the ledge grab. The next fish is much easier as long as you position yourself to the right half while sliding up the steep slope, and at the peak of the slope, push A and B at the same time again to get height and dismount. If done correctly, the fish will run to the left and you can ground pound onto the slope, rocketing you towards the fish. You can also do these fish in opposite order. These different strats aren't faster by themselves, but it places you closer to the next area you'll be surfing to. You would slide up this slope first, catch the fish, then jump down on this part of the ramp. Perform a slide kick, do not jump, and you should soar up to the pillarfish. Personally, I find this to be much harder, but others do it with a high success rate, so I suggest trying out both and seeing which you prefer. That's Slide Fort completed. Great job! This is where the route splits between the Skyboost and regular strats. We'll come back to this point at the end of the video. Crane, 1 fish. Immediately after catching the slide fish, come over this way to grab a sand shredder and boost over to the crane ruin. Soon before arriving, do a short super jump and keep hopping across the sand to conserve your speed and swing across to the tower. Make sure to jump off early onto the second floor, and about halfway across the platform, right here, do a full jump, hold A, while holding forward, and hook the swing around half a second after being able to, and you should release about a second after you start to swing back up to land on the red hook. This jump will take some getting used to, but after a while, it will become very consistent. There is an alternate method to reach the red hook that's both faster and more difficult. Instead of doing a short super to the left tower, you super while holding A and B the entire time over here on the right. You want to line yourself up with this corner while at top speed and super last second to make it up to the red hook much quicker. That's all we have for the crane ruin. Pond tower, 2 fish. Jump off the tower and swing back over to the mainland. Try to land with a ground pound on the slope part of the edge. But be careful to avoid the tree. If you hit it, you might fall off the edge. Keep hopping along the sand to conserve your speed until you reach the tree with the bait. Ground pound 2 times on the journey there to give yourself slight speed boosts. Once off this big ledge and the other time on this downward slope. The second one is a bit harder to time accurately, but it comes naturally over time. To grab the bait off the tree, submerge yourself underwater, start swimming up and dash before you reach the surface. Try to hit the wall right here, to the right of this line in the texture. It's faint but recognizable. This gives you a small window to grab the bait and swim over to the fish. Throw the bait between the wood raft and the fish just like in the tutorial. Hold neutral and press X behind the fish to make it jump towards the lily pads. Swim over this way, grab a shredder and super jump to grab the next fish. Make sure you have enough speed before you super. Exit the pond and we're on our way to Sling Fort. Sling Fort, 2 fish. Ride the shredder through the boost ring and continue on to Sling Fort. This super jump is tricky, but very consistent once you understand the timing. Right when you hit the darkest part of the bridge's shadow, super and hold A the entire jump. This is once again possible to do without needing the ledge grab. If you miss the jump, there is a backup referred to as Rage Skip, named after the founder, Rage Engage 1. Come to the left side of this face of the plateau. Ground pound jump into a wall jump and hook the bob at the top. Repeatedly pull down on the left stick. It'll fling you up to the top of the plateau. The fish is much more sensitive to you approaching it when doing this backup. It's notorious for juking you out last second. This fish might require extra time practicing. The next fish has a very large gap you need to cross to reach it. This jump has a very consistent setup to make 100% of the time. It is also possible to just jump down without the ledge grab, and I suggest doing it once you understand the positioning and have a low enough time to worry about the small things. The setup is to ledge grab in line with the point of the slope. Hold neutral, jump straight up. Once you begin to fall, then you start holding forward and jump the second you hit the slope. Swing over to the next fish, and when you jump off the ledge, jump from here on the left side. Going from the right side makes it much harder to reach the mainland. Bounce Fort, 2 fish. You're on your way to the last 2 fish. Unfortunately, this one can be a run killer. At the bottom of the ledge, call a shredder and make your way up to the boost ring. Once you go through, turn to the right and perform a super off the ramp right here. This one is pretty finicky. You'll need full speed and a decent angle. At the top of the bounce fort, ground pound straight down into this trampoline and catch the running fish. If you mess up any of these steps, the fish could be off cycle and may run away. He's very fast, so the best backup advice I can give you is to chase him to be in the same position he would be if you had got there at the right time. The next fish is very easy, a really nice one to close out the run. Just walk down over here, strafe jump to the hole in the wall, and slide jump all the way to the red fish, and warp when you pause cancel. There's an alternate ending to grab this fish. Once you grab the running one, head back to where you landed off the super. Ledge grab on this wood texture, jump down along the wall, and land between these 2 vases. You should clip immediately if you have enough speed. Jump once you're in the wall or you won't have enough height to make the gap. This isn't nearly as consistent as going around, but saves around 2 seconds. Ending. Turn in. Once you warp back to the tutorial area, start slide jumping to the red hook. Do the same movement you did to exit the tutorial at the start of the run, except this time you're going to turn right and go to the basket to turn all of your fish into bail. There's also a faster, but of course, harder way to get up to the basket. At the top of the red hook, turn right, walk along the railing of this platform, and at the halfway mark, cut to the right. Hook the swing and release a little before the peak of the swing. Wall running makes this much more consistent, but loses you about half a second. Congratulations! You have completed a 10 fish run in the Big Catch Tacklebox. All that's left to do is practice, grind down your times, and climb the leaderboard. Skyboost route, 3 fish. Once you've gotten familiar with the run and are looking for a new time save with a bit of flair, we can change it up by adding the Skyboost route. You'll be able to achieve a sub 6 time without needing this trick, and this will shoot your time right down. Before we learn how to do the Skyboost, we should learn what makes it work, and to do that I've asked Spectral, another member of the community, to write out in much better detail than I ever could. When you enter a jump state, the game remembers your last ground position, which in this case is the lily pad. You can keep running on water, which in itself is a weird state as you are walking but there's no ground to clamp to, which means the game will not update your previous ground info as long as you are running on water. While the player is in the walk state, the game will check if the player is still able to stand on water every frame. On the frame that the player's speed drops too low, it will set your state to jump and apply the previous ground's force onto you. This logic is executed whenever the player walks, slides, or spins off of a moving platform, so the player movement is affected by the motion of the platform itself. The launch being executed ends up abusing this mechanic because we are much farther away from the lily pad than the game expects us to be. Of course, this is all assuming that the platform is still at an unusual rotation, resulting in a strong projection. So, in short, the game believes that you are standing on the lily pad, and the further away you get while hopping on the water, rotates it more and more. By the time we reach the light patch of the water, it will have built up enough rotational speed that when we hold neutral to slow down, we get thrown up into the air. After we grab the slide fish, instead of surfing up to the crane, you go straight to the pond tower, cutting it and its travel time out entirely. When surfing up, position yourself between these two platforms in the water, and perform a super jump on the downward slope next to the water. Continually hop along the water and make sure to jump on and off of this lily pad here. This is essential for the trick to work. Do 2 full hops on the water by holding A the entire time, and hold neutral on the right half of this lighter patch of water. If you're on the left side, you may hit your head on the roof above, flinging you to the side. If you get the launch upwards but don't get enough height, your water running speed was too slow. If you were successful, you should get rocketed into the sky. Once close enough to this ledge, ground pound down onto the golden fish and jump straight down inside the tower to grab this fish hidden behind the door. To get under the small gap, do a slide jump and capture the fish. Pond tower ends with the same fish as the beginner route, by moving around the side of this tower and catching this little guy on the lily pad. Great job! You've learned the Skyboost route. The rest of the run is the same as what you've been shown earlier, so get to Sling Fort and grind down that time. Today we've learned the full 10 fish route for the big catch Tacklebox, alternate strats, and backups. If this video helped you out, leave a like, and feel free to share with anyone else who might want to learn this speedrun. If you have any questions about any of the tricks, comment them down below, or join the speedrunning Discord linked in the description. There's tons of runners who talk, share PBs, and theorize about new ideas for the run all the time. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your speedrunning journey in the big catch Tacklebox.